Hans comes with a bit of a disadvantage over other agents for the simple fact that his character model is wider than everyone else and he is harder to miss. In this video, we are going to be looking at Hans' strengths and weaknesses, go over his kit, and showcase two different Hans builds. His initial build that everyone must use, and my personal preferred build. While I may not be the world's #1 Hans, this guide should be more than enough for you to hit the ground running. Alright, let's start it up. While classes aren't really a thing in Deceive, Hans is a disruptor, which the game says experts at controlling space and disturbing the flow of fights, which is kind of what it is, but really disruptors in this game are known pretty much for having neutralize and turning other people's abilities off, and Hans has one, so I guess that makes him a disruptor. Unlocks in this game are locked behind the class mastery system. As you play more with Hans, you'll gain mastery points and mastery levels. There's 10 mastery levels to complete and you'll get prizes along the way. At levels 2, 6, and 10, you'll gain cosmetics. At level 3, the second passive. At level 4, the second expertise. At level 5, the second weapon. Level 7, the final passive. Level 8, the final expertise. And level 9, the final weapon. Once you've completed the 10 mastery levels, you move into the long-term progression system known as Echelons. It's estimated to take between 400 and 600 hours to complete the 100 Echelon levels. There's lots of prizes along the way, most notably at levels 10, 50, and 100, there's unique costumes, and at level 30, a unique ink. There's also the premium currency bonds for each level. Let's start by looking at Hans's weapons. Before we really get into them, let's talk about a small gimmick they all have. They're all shotguns in hipfire, but when you aim down the sight, they become a single slug fire and function very similar to something like Chavez's weapons. So we'll talk about them in kind of two parts, the hipfire damage of the shotgun and the aim down sights damage of that slug. So for the first weapon here, the hook, it does 40 damage as a shotgun. That's if all pellets land. Shotguns in this game do not hit headshots, so you're going to hit basically as for each pellet, and if you hit all of them, you're going to do 40 damage. It has a damage fall-off range of 10, which is not surprising for a shotgun, and you're going to lose half of that damage as you get to 20 meters at the max. For ADS, this functions almost exactly like Chavez's Weapon 1, slightly less body damage than Chavez's Weapon 1 with only 25, but 50 damaged headshots, and a damage fall-off range of actually 25 meters, which is remarkably far, and even at the 35 meter mark, you're still doing 70% of your damage. So that makes this weapon and most of Hans' weapons actually really good at long-range engagements, surprisingly. This one only has 6 shots before you have to reload, which if you are doing the 40 damage hip fire, that's more than enough. That's also equal to Chavez's Weapon 1. I do like to compare this a lot back to Chavez's Weapon 1 because it is, in ADS mode, only slightly worse, losing 5 damage on the body, but also having a whole shotgun mechanic built in. Really long reload of 2.2 seconds, you don't really want to be reloading, and somewhat slow-ish fire rate of 1.3, but that's really not an issue, and this gun gets a kind of fine or just good overall. There's nothing really bad with it, but there's nothing that sets it above anything else. It's just kind of good. You can certainly win games with it, and well, we definitely will, but it doesn't, there's nothing to write home about. It's just a good overall weapon. Moving on to his weapon 2, this is the full auto shotgun, and you can see even immediately in the video you're shooting at a much higher rate of fire with for a lot less damage though. Your hip fire is only doing 25 here, but you're shooting at way faster speeds, and you have a much bigger mag. You have a mag of 10. So if you're using this in shotgun mode for that 25 damage, assuming you're hitting all pellets, it's only going to take 4 or 5 shots to kill based on health chips, and you have 10, which means you can miss half of your shots completely and still kill in a full mag, but without having to reload. The ADS isn't amazing, 18 and 30, but you're still keeping that fast fire rate. So as long as you're able to aim with his somewhat awkward aims, or his somewhat awkward sight, in my opinion, this is a pretty good ranged weapon as well. The shotgun is always going to have that 10 meter fall off range, And this ADS fall off damage is the 20 to 30, keeping 60% of your damage at that 30 mark. Basically similar to Ace and Red's carbines is a really good way to think of this particular ADS. With this shotgun added in, and you get 10 shots with a fairly quick fire rate. This is my personal favorite, and I do think Hans's best weapon. It kills just because of the quicker rate of fire, even with the lower damage. In shotgun fights, or in a fight where you're using the shotgun, you kill in about the same amount of time as you do with his weapon 1. So you're not really losing a lot there. You just have to use more bullets in the same amount of time. So I like this one a lot, and I think it's his best. Also, because of the quick fire rate, it's really good at ranged fights as long as you can aim with, again, the slightly awkward aim down sight, but it's pretty much the same awkwardness for all of his weapons, so I don't think that's really a disadvantage for this one in particular. And we'll see this one in the preferred build, because I do think it is just better than the other ones. Like, it kind of eclipses them. Finally, we have the uppercut. This is the double barrel shotgun. Only 2 shots before you have to reload. The reload falls in between the last 2, so it's kind of long compared to the rest of the cast. You really don't want to be reloading, but you kind of have to. It's a little bit awkward. The hip fire is only 40, which means even if you land all the pellets for both, you're doing 80 damage. So even if you follow that up with a quick melee, that's only going to be 95, which doesn't kill anyone. 2 quick melees or a charge melee is going to push that into the 110 range, which covers most of the health chips, but does take a little longer, though still less than reloading, so that might be good. The real interesting thing here is the aim down sight headshot damage specifically is 60. So there's a couple combos I'm going to call out. Obviously, if during the beginning of the game when most people don't have health chips, you can do a hip fire into a headshot for 40, 60 is 100. No HP chip that's going to kill. Requires some precision aim, of course, but what doesn't? And then you can also, just if someone's out of cover, a 2-tap headshot is going to do 120 damage from that ADS. And you can do that at a remarkably far range, 25 meters before you start losing any damage. 35, you still have 70% of your damage. Now, the ADS body shot damage is only 30 and you only get 2 shots, so it's not great, but if you have to fight outside that preferred shotgun range, it's good enough. We do keep that high fire rate, basically the same fire rate 1.8 as the previous weapon. So that's what makes it really strong, is you get 2 fast, powerful shots, and then you have a long reload. So this weapon is good, and it can be great if you're landing some of those combos we talked about, or just some really nice headshots with the ADS. I don't like it trying to use hip fire only, because only doing 80 and then having to reload gives your opponent a lot of time to either fight back or escape while you're trying to get enough damage for the kill. It might be different in duos or trios where there's other factors at play, but definitely in solos, I think you need to rely on hitting some headshots to use this weapon effectively. And if you do, I think it can become his best. But I think the jab is just so comfortable and so reliable that it is just the best one to pick up. Moving on to Hans's expertises here. These all have a sort of neutralize effect on them, and that's really what Hans is known for. So the first one we have is the Incapacitator Orb. You enter a stance. This is not an instant. You have to switch to the stance where you get this glowing orb and then throw it. And I am calling it out specifically here because it does take a little bit of time. You are giving up fire rate or just shots to throw this orb out. But what it does is it neutralizes and slows. So it prevents them from using their expertise, or could turn their expertise off if they've already used it. Something like a Chavez expertise 1 where he goes invulnerable. You throw this at them, they're neutralized, turns that invulnerability off, and you can do damage again. And of course it slows them, which makes them easier to hit. This one is kind of fine. It knocks them out of cover, which can be really useful. We talked about the weapon 3 doing headshots. You can kind of use this at range, throw the orb at them to knock them out of cover, and then use the weapon 3 headshots to get a quick kill. So that can be good. And if you are fighting someone who's needs to be neutralized, Larson's Madams, if Chavez is running to some of the invulnerables, that sort of thing, maybe even a red, then that neutralize could come in handy, but you're giving up essentially damage. You can't reload while you're throwing this, you can't shoot while you're throwing this, and it does take a little bit of time to switch to the stance and then throw it. So I'm not a huge fan of this one, and I really try not to use it because it makes an okay opener, but not great compared to the passives we'll see later. So more on that to come, but this one's kind of okay. I think it's eclipsed a bit by the static cage. So the static cage is basically the same ability, neutralize and slow, but it makes this cage around you when you hit the button. So it still takes time, just the time is negligible. There's pretty much none. So you basically don't lose any fire rate or reload time while you're popping this cage, and anyone who touches the cage gets that neutralized. So if you get close enough to a Larson, you can lock them in. They can technically go invisible as long as they don't touch the edges of the cage, but they're still in there with you, so they can't really go anywhere. It doesn't help them too much. So that's what really separates these two, is this one's really short range. You have to, you know, get up close and personal, which you want to be in anyway because you are a shotgun character. And then it doesn't take any time to use. Where this one is a ranged option, but you have to invest some time in using it. I really think it's a pick between these two, and it's somewhat situational. We're going to see this one in our preferred build to switch it up a bit. But I do think it's a bit of a pick. I usually lean towards this one, and this one if I'm specifically trying to do something I know I'll need, or I see an agent I know I'll need this for. The shock ray here isn't good. There's no real way around it. It also does the neutralize and slow, and it bounces between people. So it seems like it should just be an upgrade to the orb, which is also AoE. Like you can hit multiple people with one orb. And again, the cage is a big cage, so you can hit multiple people with that. This bounces between NPCs and knocks people out of cover just like the orb, except it's a little bit finicky, and by a little bit I mean it's a lot finicky, where like it can do good, but sometimes you just kind of miss shots you shouldn't miss, like, or it doesn't bounce the way you want it to. There's no real control over this. If you hit the target you wanted to hit, great, but if you were like hitting that target anyway, the orb does the same thing, and it's harder to miss the orb. Even in like duos and trios, the orb and the cage are both able to hit multiple targets, so this one's not very good, mostly because I'm not sure if it's just buggy or it's just really hard to hit, but it doesn't land well, and I pretty much never take it because of that. I would rather the orb, which is a big AoE, or the cage, which is someone close to me, also an AoE, just a kind of a different one. I don't really recommend taking this pretty much ever. Let's move on to the passives here. I think these are important when we talk about the expertises because there is a bit of overlap, as we'll see. So passive 1 is when you break your cover, you let out a wave, and that wave breaks people's cover and slows them. Now in solos, the hope is your first shot that is breaking your cover is gonna break whoever you're shooting's cover, and that wave is more for the slow than to break everyone else's cover, because if you're breaking a third person's cover, that means it's gonna be a free-for-all, and that may not be what you were going for. In duos and trios, if you get to the center of like a team, you can break all of their cover, which can be really good. And again, that slowing wave comes out from you, which is a big slow, which throw back to the expertise. This also has a slow. So, well, this seems like a good engage because it breaks cover and slows and neutralizes. Well, this also slows. So it really, the only benefit of breaking cover with this instead of just shooting them is you get a neutralize. And you don't know you need that neutralize until you know who you're fighting. So it's kind of a bit of a gamble because that neutralize has some time investment where this just works. So that's really my thoughts on this one. It's good. I think in solos, it's really not that good, especially compared to the next one. The slow is obviously really good. I just think the next one's so much better, especially in solos. In duos and trios, I can definitely see taking this one. It does require getting up close with a team, which can be an issue, but you do land a big slow potentially on many targets. Let's look at this one. I think this one is better for solos. Similar idea. There's a wave and it slows and breaks cover, but instead of the wave coming out of you when you when you break your cover specifically, this is when you break someone else's cover, the wave comes out of them. So this is basically the long-ranged option, which is something you need to worry about on Hans, but also in solos, since most fights are 1v1 and you're hitting someone who is in cover, this is going to trigger that at the same range as this one. It just kind of does what this one does, but potentially at range. It just does the same thing, but more. So in solo play, I don't really see a reason to take this one over this one. I can't really find one. I've thought about it for a while. The only time like this one's better is if your target is out of cover and you're in cover. But you could just like wait for them to get cover, or if they're out of cover, just headshot them because I don't have headshot prevention. So yeah, they don't get the slow. I don't think it's that big a deal. I think this one just kind of goes head and shoulders above the first one for solos. Now duos and trios is a bit different. I still kind of like this one in duos and trios because if you're breaking a target's cover, the wave comes out from them, and teams are usually together, so you'll probably break the team's cover in a very similar way you would here. It's just this one may not put, this one puts you at the center of everyone and this one might not, so I still think it's kind of better. I like this one the best, like by far, of the three, so we'll see that in preferred. And I kind of think it just eclipses this one, but maybe in the comments someone will have a reason to take the first one. And similar to expertise 3, passive 3 is just kind of bad. You get expertise cooldown back when you hit someone with your expertise, but we talked about them all being AoE. I mean, in solos you're hitting one person, so it's really bad in solos. But even in duos and trios, you don't get enough expertise cooldown back to like really use it twice, and usually you don't have to use these things twice in a fight with a neutralize. So yeah, this one kind of seems like unneeded. There's expertise cooldown chips as well, so you kind of double dipping, or you just have a chip that does this. I don't really see a good reason to take this. I am a solos player, so that has something to do with it. Maybe in duos and trios this has more value, but personally I don't really see it. While no gadgets are really agent specific, we will go over a couple things that might combo nicely with Hans. The shield Brella, we talked about a lot of his stuff having long reloads. I don't really think you necessarily need this with like the weapon 2, but he does have some longer reloads, especially on the weapon 3. Being able to hide behind a shield while you're reloading, even if they break it immediately, can just buy you enough time to get that reload off. I do want to call it the tripwire, since it does count as breaking someone's cover. The passive 2 we talked about, when you break someone's cover, they let out this wave and then it's slow. Well, it's probably not going to do much in solos. It's kind of funny. Goo pod here, like, I mean, you could call this out for pretty much any agent, but if you goo pod someone, they're probably not getting away from you. You're a shotgun character. I mean, you already have slows built into your kit. You probably don't need this, but more slow. I don't really see a ton of other stuff here. Like, you could call it maybe the hollow mimic if you need, because you kind of want people to get close to you, and maybe the third person camera on that could be useful. You can hide and wait for someone to get close. I don't really know. There's not a ton more. You could say similar things about the bait box. Maybe the signal scrambler turns off other people's gadgets, but that's kind of true of any agent. So I really think for Hans specific stuff, it is mostly just like shield billet for reload and this kind of funny thing that's not necessarily good, but it is a combo. Everything else I think doesn't apply specifically to Hans more than any other agent. Of course, there are some gadgets better than other playstyles, etc., but this isn't that kind of guide. Let's move on to field upgrades. Now, we usually talk about how much expertise cooldown you need. For Hans, I don't think you need a lot. purple is probably overkill. Especially with like expertise 1 where you want to probably lead a fight with it, or you're going to use it maybe once to stop that Lowson from escaping once you see it's a Lowson. So I don't think you need a ton of this. You just want your expertise up like once a fight. So you could probably knock this down a little. We're playing in solos. I like to call out in solos. I don't really find ammo pouch that useful, and for Hans that stays true. Since in solos, once you kill someone, you get their spy pack, which contained all their ammo. You tend to have a lot. In team play, duos and trios, ammo pouch could be more useful since there's pretty much the same amount of ammo, but there's more players to spread it among. Cover accelerator, we like to call it, is generically good. But I don't think anything else specifically combos with Hans's play style more than anything else. And we always call out Exfiltration Scammer as just being a bad chip, and you really shouldn't be slotting it at any level. And let's just go over the build. The initial build is, of course, the 1, 1, and 1. And for a preferred build, we'll do a 2, 2, and 2. Pretty simple stuff there. I do want to call out before we get into those showcases, I did record them while I was live streaming, so I think at one point or maybe two, a follow notification does appear. And I can't remove that from the video in post, unfortunately, so I did just want to call that out, that is going to pop up for about a second there during one of these showcases, or maybe both. I kind of forget. So I hope you enjoy, and well, we'll go right to the showcase. All right, we got hard sell for our Hans initial build here. This will be pretty interesting. Well, I'm not a huge fan of this. It does kind of come together, but there is some weird things about it.
Time to experience the plight.
Like our passive and our expertise both have slows. So it's kind of like, do you lead with one? Well, I mean, you always lead with the passive, but if you're not in range, then maybe you lead with the orb. You don't really want to throw the orb during fights because it does take a while to actually fire the orb, and neutralize is only valuable on a couple targets.
Usable.
Okay, well, we did get good intel here. We should be a little careful. Let's do the plant here for a second, just see if anyone else spawned near us. We can hack the door here. And then we'll have to figure out an outfit, but we can also just chill for a moment, get intel. Or not. Oh. Okay, there's someone in there?
Dogs would do a much better job.
They're not hacking the door. Are they opening drawers? Okay, it's gotta be this Doug. Alright. I mean, that's just regular Hans things. If you're in shotgun range, you're in shotgun range. There's really nothing special about it. I think any of his weapons do the exact same thing there. We saw the hollow crumb, and we just had to find the odd guard out. Grab us our... I'm kind of doing this wrong. Let's grab this 3, so that way we're not... That way we're not wasting the 15-second cooldown. And since we did pick up a keycard from the Vigil, we'll drop out this window, because I think it's less sus to drop out the window than it is to... I mean, it's not less, but we can see who's going to see us. Like that one Doug, I think, was kind of sus there right as we fell. If I could change disguises right now, I would, but... Yeah, this Doug seems kind of sus. Alright, I'm wrong. I came running all that way just to catch me off guard. And now we're back here with our disabled thing. To B? I guess to B. Oh, there's a fight somewhere. Do we stick our head in the gap? Oh, I found the fight somewhere.
This better not break down.
Oh, he's low. I shouldn't have reloaded. We almost died because I reloaded. I miscounted my bullets. I have questions about that bounce pad. I heard it. This is a terrible spot to stand and heal. But, okay, we got the Octo. That. Whew. We landed two pretty nice ADS shots. So that was important. The ADS on this is really good. It's pretty much like a Chavez Weapon 1.
Not sure we like it. The vault terminal was deactivated.
Let's see if anyone comes sprinting out of this. Clearly it's been taken. Oh, hey, Doug, self-revive? Hello?
Vault open. Prove to us we are right to call you our favorite.
Oh, I want a green, but I don't have a green keycard or anything, so... I'm... Okay, barely won that one too. We are surviving fights we should not be surviving, but whoa. Mouse going crazy. Are we dead? I see there's like Doug running at us and I'm worried we just died. I would love to not have to sit here. But actually we can't, right? I never got my green, so we just have to eat all this food. Did get our health, which is nice. Oh, we should have... Okay, if we didn't win that, I would have been mad. We finally did get our green, though. We did have our green earlier. I just didn't realize, because I went into the vault not having it, so my brain remembered not having it, even though we picked it up off the ace there. We'll take this shortcut out. We do need an outfit, but maybe we won't bother. We'll just sprint on through as a Doug. Yeah, that's okay. We'll be out of cover by the time we're in the vault, but the speed gains here might be worth it. I mean, who's gonna fight Hans in this vault? Like, tiny circle, shotgun arm? Seems like an easy victory for us anyway.
They should just give up now.
Alright, one person. What are they? They're a vigil. Alright, we do have to be a little careful because we're on the wrong cover now. Whoa, don't like double jump. That was weird. That was not meaningful damage, but it was fun. I just wanted them to know we'd know.
Rival agent detection mode activated.
I'm gonna ping through this door. Let's see if we can get them running at us some more. Are they coming this way? Oh, they're not. Oh, there's a ton of people alive. Okay. What? They weren't going to heal or anything? This is just awkward now. Oh, okay. Alright, important not to miss those shots. Do we have everything? We have everything. Can we heal? We can heal. That worked out in our favor. Not quite sure why, but it did. What are we looking at? One Chavez. Yeah, we've just been winning fights in shotgun range, which is really Hans's thing. But, yeah, I guess if you can get all your fights in shotgun range as Hans, I recommend it. Okay, and grab all this intel. See if we can just walk at shop. We're gonna ping here, so this is kind of rough, but he was far enough away that we should just be able to walk at him, right? He's this Doug. Oh, missed one. Hey, Chavez. All right, we got that one. That's why that ability is not all that good. You kind of just walk with them, and they kind of just die. Like, he survived 7 bonus seconds because he had his ability, or 5. It's only 5 seconds now. he survived 5 more seconds because he hit the button, but in a little 1v1, that does not quite enough. 6 elims. I guess that does show the power of this build. I was kind of hating on it at the start, but it put in the results. And we hit Echelon 11. All right, that was our initial build. Didn't remember what we were doing, and that's not even my preferred build. I was hating on this just a little bit, but yeah, I don't think we pulled out the expertise, but I don't think we needed to. We didn't really come across like a Madam or Larson, and those were the only ones I was really thinking of using it on. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the preferred build in 1 sec, and well, see you there. Okay, we got a preferred build here back on hard sell, so like it'll be a pretty real comparison. I like that they put us right in front of this door, but we didn't have intel to get in. Let's see if we can get enough. Honestly, not a ton of intel around here. There we go. Whoop. +1. Do I even want in that green room? I feel like I don't. I should just be kind of prioritizing getting to A. This and more intel. Walk good as we get the intel. Yeah, we'll see if we can get into A here real quick. Interesting. Any other intel I can grab from here? Not really. Also need an outfit. Oh boy, okay. We just like go in and slap who's ever in here? Yeah. Hi, Doug. No, you don't see nothing. You don't see nothing. Alright. Good guarding.
Trying to bore me into giving up.
Alright, one really good thing. I know we talked about this in the guide part, the pre-showcase part, but the fact that Cage doesn't have a stance, you just hit it and the cage appears, is a lot better than what we were just using. So we should see it used more. And did it in the wrong order again, but that's fine. Gonna waste 1 intel, but that's also fine. Get our health here, and we'll head. Oh no, okay. For some reason, I counted. I heard 2 vaults go off after I did 1, and I thought we were done phase 1 already, but nope.
Everything has its use.
Did that guy just open that drawer? No. Maybe. How badly do I want this green? What is happening? Weird stuff. Weird stuff is what's happening. I think we're going with the same plan we had previously, which was pick up a green off someone's body. Alright, well that was interesting. We we got the kill because they took our disguise. But as we can kind of see, if we compare this gun to the one we had in our initial build, it was, I mean, I think it was 1 more shot, but like the time difference wasn't a lot. We don't have any key cards. I just realized this is gonna be a bit rougher.
Useful.
Yeah, the lack of key cards here is gonna be an issue. We're full on ammo though. Whoop, running into a random sign. This place is gonna have no intel by the time we're done. Printing somewhere. Okay, we can save 5 intel if we do this. Oh. Okay, there was no printer in there anyway. We need to get into a purple and find a printer, or steal one. Where's that noise coming from? Is it in there? No. Where is it? I think it was below me. Shoot. Now I just have to kind of guess where they're going with that. I was really hoping it was up this staircase, but no one's here yet, so I think we're going to be on the defensive.
Informed they will pay.
Yeah. Alright, now we just have to figure out what we're up against. That was quite a shot they just took at me. I don't have the range here for this, so... Okay. Trading these shots is probably not good for us on an Ace versus Hans matchup.
Do they even know what they're doing?
But if we could close the
A
gap some...
pawn in my game.
Alright, they get a shield, we get some barricades. Oh my gosh, Doug, get out of here. We just chill for a moment and try to heal back up. And hope our disguise is thin. I have invisible hands. I am now shooting without a crosshair. Oh!
The victory go to spoils.
Rival agent
We're the long-range character now. Alright, our cage was not effective there, but I had to I had to shoot without a crosshair. Or without a... I guess we had a crosshair, but jeez. Oh, I don't have an outfit for this, and it's a vigil. Alright.
rival agent
They never suspect this. Hang on. Come on.
running low.
You know
Intel.
this is the most elaborate bait.
Intel running low.
Ah! Alright. The yelling adds 5 damage. And there we go. I mean, it wasn't the best showing of, like, our cage, but it was just as good as we showed off the orb in the initial build, and we showed how good the weapon was a couple times. We even got some nice kind of range fights. So, yeah, as preferred builds go, this is the one I really like on Hans, and I think we did show off why. It's the same speed as weapon 1, but you get 10 shots. Like, I've already been over this, but it's just like to say it one more time. Yeah, that's gonna be our preferred Hans build there, and I guess we gotta do our usual outro here. Let's go to the menu. For all of our guides, we like to pop back in here and just...
Will not make us sneak.
Yeah, so that was our Hans guide. If this helped you out, please subscribe. It does allow me to make more of these guides and videos in general. If there's anything we missed, we got a couple of these left, so do leave a comment if you have any Hans tips or just general tips on how these future guides could be better. And we mostly do gameplay commentary here, so if that's something you're into, I will see you in the next one.